So good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to this Fireside Chat with FPSB India, and thank you for joining us today as we kickstart our very first webinar of 2025. I'm Sanya Chavan, Manager Certifications and Engagements at FPSB India, and it's my absolute pleasure to connect with you all once again. We are diving into an incredibly relevant and timely topic today, unlocking unprecedented opportunities, Gift City and IFSCA for CFP professionals in the era of new regulations and trends. This discussion is particularly special as we explore how the latest changes in regulations are opening up amazing opportunities for CFP professionals. So whether you're already active in your field or looking to expand your expertise and practice, today's session is packed with invaluable insights. So let's get started. Let me introduce you to the first speaker. Our first speaker here is Mr. Pradeep Ramakrishnan, Executive Director at IFSCA. He's a commerce graduate and a qualified company secretary with over 27 years of experience. He began his career with Madras Fertilizers Limited and later served as the company secretary for Kothari Petrochemicals Limited, Chennai. So from 2002 to 2024, he led key leadership roles at SEBI, including heading the Compliance and Monitoring Division. Later, from September 2020 until his tenure at SEBI concluded, he led the Department of Debt and Hybrid Securities, handling corporate bonds, municipal bonds, and sustainable finance. In the year 2024, he joined IFSCA as Executive Director. He currently leads the Department of Capital Markets, overseeing corporate finance. That includes equity, hybrid, and related products, market infrastructure institutions, sustainable finance, investment funds, new products and services, and the supervision of intermediaries. Additionally, he heads the Department of Metals and Commodities, which includes divisions for market development, regulation, and supervision. And our second speaker is our very own Amisha Sethi, Senior Vice President of Policy and Communications at FPSB India. She's a global marketing leader with 21 years of experience, a fitness enthusiast, an award-winning actor, and author of the national bestseller book, It Doesn't Hurt to Be Nice. Listed and recognized as the top 50 most talented brand leaders of India 2012 by Bloomberg and CMO Asia. She's also a TEDx speaker. Prior to joining FPSB India, she held the position of Vice President of Global Marketing and Customer Relations at Intellect, a world leader in image recognition AI. Amisha has also held the position of Vice President of Global Marketing at Locus. She was the former Director of Asia Pacific Brand Marketing at BlackBerry, ex-Chief Commercial Officer at AirAsia, and ex-National Marketing Manager at Airtel. Have also worked as Vice President Marketing at an AI and deep learning startup, Frol Incorporated. An executive scholar in marketing and sales management from Kellogg School of Management, Northwestern University, USA, MBA from MIT Business School, and a science graduate from Delhi University. Amisha is also the winner of Mrs. India Worldwide 2021 and Dadasaheb Phalke Best Actress Award receiver for the film Meher in 2024. So you see, their years of dedication and hard work are truly reflected in their impressive profiles here. So welcome once again to this Fireside Chat. Over to you, Amisha.
Thank you so much, Sanya, for such a beautiful and warm welcome to both of us, to Pradeep and myself. And thank you so much, everyone, for taking out your precious time in hearing us. Pradeep, it's an honor to be alongside in this fireside chat with you. I'm very, very happy to host this chat and be the speaker here as well. Just before we get started, a quick overview of Gift City. Announced in 2007, Gift City has long been one of the India's most ambitious projects to establish an international financial services center in the likes of Singapore and Dubai, probably India's only quintessential international financial center. Gift City has been in works for over a decade now, spanning 1,000 acres, just a 20 minutes drive from Ahmedabad airport. It is finally gaining momentum in the last few years with clearer policies, growing investor confidence. More than 700 registered financial institutions are now operating in Gift City. It's pretty much emerging as a hub for global financial activities, pretty much becoming like a center of gravity when it comes to financial activities in India. And at this cusp of exponential growth, the role of IFSCA has been absolutely amazing. It's been facilitating a strong global connect, focus on the needs of Indian economy, as well as serving as an international financial platform for the entire region and the global economy as a whole. So, Pradeep, could you start by providing like a quick overview of the GIFT City and the role of IFSCA in transforming India's financial ecosystem?
Thanks. Good evening, Amisha. I think it's one of the rare occasions where the interviewer is a lot more qualified than the interviewee. Actually, when Sania, I should thank Sania also when she was just going through your profile. So I was thinking that okay, maybe I should be doing the interview and then you should be actually answering. So anyway, I think
You're too sweet and you're too adorable, Pradeep, and you're
so,
amazingly humble. Thank you so much.
yeah. So yes. So thanks a lot. Good evening, everyone. I think it's an honor and pleasure to join you all today evening. So I joined IFSCA just a year ago. Of course, we as a regulator are also a baby. We're just 4 years old as a regulator. Essentially, why did this concept come? And this is something that has got a lot of history to it, right? If you go down to go all the way back to 2007, there was a thought process that India should have an international finance center. And a group was set up under the leadership of Mr. Percy Mistry to make Mumbai an international finance center. So that was the first attempt that was made. But because of various reasons, political or otherwise, I think that project did not take off. And at that point in time, the current chief prime minister of the country was the chief minister of Gujarat, and he said that he had been to Singapore, and then he said that, okay, then there is a need for us to have an international financial services center. The reason is, for a lot of reasons, Indians are going abroad, right? If you today, if I'm going to say, if you want to borrow in the international market, what are the cities that come to your mind, right? Like you think of Singapore, you think of London, right? So why can't India also be in the pecking order, right? If not above the pecking order, at least in the pecking order, India doesn't feature at all. So why can't we also feature in the pecking order? That was from where this whole thought process started as to what we can do. But then it was like it took some time for germination, as is with all projects, and particularly a very ambitious project like this. One of the main reasons is in India, you have capital controls, capital account convertibility. I mean, which essentially means that you just can't exchange an Indian rupee for a foreign currency, and you can't buy or sell things in foreign currency. You have an Indian rupee, and things happen in Indian rupee. Whereas here is a jurisdiction which uses 15 currencies, right? All 15 international currencies are used here. And this is the only SEZ in India, this special economic zone in India, for the purpose of banking, financial services, and IT related, insurance related. Essentially, it's the only SEZ for financial services, because immediately if I talk to you about SEZ, a special economic zone, immediately your thought process goes towards a manufacturing special economic zone, right? So that is how each city has manufacturing special economic zone, whereas this is the only city which is a financial services SEZ. The next question you may immediately ask is, can there be more IFSCs? The answer is yes, because essentially, if you look at our own act, the IFSC Act, it says that we are a regulator for international financial services centers, right? It's in plural. So which means that there can be other, of course, those are things which have to be worked out between the state governments and the central government. So the gift took shape in 2012, and slowly it started getting built. And initially, I mean, now you can actually see a lot of buildings, etc., in GIFT, whereas just 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, just during COVID, you could actually be the only soul in this entire enclave. So this is a small enclave around 300 odd acres. So there's also a domestic tariff area, which is another 500 odd acres. So essentially, this place is only 300 acres. Whatever happens here is considered as this is an international area. Of course, I don't receive my salary in dollars. I receive it in rupees only. And all the ministerial expenses also happen in rupees. But otherwise, this place, all the transactions happen in international currency. So the idea behind the gift is this IFSC is threefold. First, if you take it, it is more about onshoring the offshore. You can use the tagline onshoring the offshore. See, at one point in time, population was considered as India's bane, right? So we have got too much population. We don't know what to do with it. We have to educate so much people. We have to feed so much people. And there were a lot of issues. Over a period of time, the government as well as private and as well as the people themselves found a way out, right? And particularly after liberalization, India has grown to be one of the largest economies in the world today. Now, what has happened is that over a period of time, many Indians have gone abroad. They've gone to different countries, they've gone to different cities, they've started their own businesses, they're employed at different places. Now, at some point in time, they want to come back to India, or either they want to bring the business to India, or they want to invest in India, or they want to take something out of India. Now, this IFSC is exactly doing that. So, one is we want to be, it's onshoring the offshore. Secondly, it's we want to be a gateway of global capital flows, right? And third one is we want to be a hub for innovation. So these are the three ideas behind which we have sort of set up the IFSC, and we are the regulator for IFSC. In India, you must have heard about RBI, you must have heard about SEBI, you must have heard about insurance regulator IRDA, PFRDA. Now here for this enclave, we are the regulator doing everything. So here Indian laws do not apply. The FEMA does not apply. We have our own set of rules. We have our own set of regulations on the basis of which things happen. So this is the broad overview of why the IFSC was established and what are we doing now.
Absolutely. This is fantastic, Pradeep, and I think it's amazingly insightful to hear you. I, at a personal level, when I was hearing you, I got super excited. I've personally worked in countries like US. I have worked in London. I have worked in Dubai, in Singapore, and absolutely. I mean, and recently I've been to Gift City when I got an honor to meet you in person. I think Gift City's state of the art infrastructure has blown me away. It is no wonder that it is one of the leading global financial centers. It's upcoming global financial centers, and I think I'm also very, very excited about the liberal tax regime, a very strong regulatory and legal environment thanks to IFSCA, and the kind of lucrative opportunities which are available, with the kind of hand in hand that even FPSB India is working together with IFSCA to bring these kind of lucrative opportunities for the CFP professionals. So that brings me to the next question. With the introduction of new regulations by IFSCA, how do you see the financial services sector evolving, especially in the context of CFP professionals? What's your take on that?
Yeah, thanks, Amisha. That's a good question. So, but let me just go back to first. Let us, when you talk about finance, everyone talks about tax. More so, with tomorrow being the budget day, right? So everyone talks about tax. So when you want to germinate something, when something is embryonic, you need to have some catalyst. You need to give some freebies. You need to initially there is something called what you call as you need to handhold, right? So you need some incentive. If you look at a lot of international finance centers, Dubai, for example, it has got a 50-year tax holiday, right? If you go and establish a business in Dubai, you get a 50-year
Wow.
tax holiday. So there is tax, tax concessions. B, there is certainty for 50 years. So in the gift, what the government has done is that it has said that for a period of the first 15 years since your incorporation, any 10-year block is 100% tax-free regime. So which means that there is no tax for 10 years of your choice within the first 15 years of your incorporation. Now,
Fantastic.
what type of businesses, like you were talking about CFPs? Now, I have been on a few FPSB webinars. I have actually met FPSB officials, and I know essentially like what exactly a CFP does. Now, what can a CFP do? First of all, some good news for all CFP. I don't know whether I should say this in the end, but I think better say it in the beginning itself, right? Why not? So we are trying to, as a regulator, we are also trying to bring something for CFPs in our regulations. The fund management regulations and the capital market intermediaries regulations are where we are like sort of saying that in case you are a CFP, then you can also act as an investment advisor. You can act as a some sort of a key managerial personnel in certain companies, particularly distribution, investment advice. These are all your like sort of ways line. So that is something which will happen. But just taking a step back and going back to your question on financial services, so how is it going to contribute? See, every country needs foreign exchange. Particularly, we are living in an economy which is largely dollarized, right? After the Bretton Woods Agreement, largely the entire what you call the trade that takes place in the world is completely in dollars. So it's important that each country earns as much foreign exchange, right? And how do you earn foreign exchange? By exporting goods and services. So we have created certain types of businesses here. The first type of business obviously is because any financial center, as I told you, like a Dubai or London, it's all important where you can come raise money and you can also sort of sell stocks, right? So money goes two ways, right? So that is what you call as so there is inbound and outbound, right? So towards that, the first thing is the capital markets. The capital markets are very vibrant. We have our own stock exchanges. We have two stock exchanges here, INX and NSEIX. Then we also have what you call as our funds. The fund industry here is super vibrant. We have got 200 funds with a corpus of almost 7 billion dollars, which is very appetizing. The bond market has completely taken off here, right? Almost 100 and 200, almost 200 issues of bonds, almost raising $80 billion, 75 to $80 billion. And one thing which we are very happy and proud about is the fact that this place has actually been a good catalyst for sustainable finance, because that is something which is going around the world today. Everyone is talking about green finance. But so what we did, because essentially I was also working on, I had worked on the taxonomy for India for listed companies for green finance. So one of the things as far as green finance is concerned is, what is green for you is not green for me, right? When it comes to the investing, right? When an investor says that there is something which I want to sort of invest in, then I'll say that no, it does not have qualitative parameters. This some quantitative parameters I don't agree. So each thing is sort of fixed in some taxonomy. So that way you have the ASEAN taxonomy, you have the European Union as a taxonomy, India itself as a taxonomy, right? So these, and there is something called the Climate Bonds Initiative. They have a taxonomy. So these things are essentially important for us to adopt. So what we did, instead of reinventing the wheel and starting a taxonomy of our own, we said that, okay, we'll adopt all these international taxonomies. This has resulted in almost 50 issues of sustainable finance happening here. Green bonds, sustainable bonds, social bonds, sustainability linked bonds. It has been a big success. And almost $15 billion has actually been raised because of this sustainable financing. So that way it has given a huge fillip to finance. The other thing is banking. So we have got almost 30 banks here, with almost half of them international banks. So they conduct business in 15 different currencies, including the ruble, including the dollar, euro, yen, and whatnot. And even some of the Norwegian, the Scandinavian Nordic currencies also are permitted. So these are all a huge advantage. So sending money, receiving money, all those things you can do in your foreign currency itself. Now Indians are also permitted recently. Every other day there is some good news as far as IFSC is concerned, so that we know, because see, India has got such a huge population, and India is the biggest captive, what I can call the catch for IFSC is India, actually, because anyway, 1 in every 6 persons on the world, on the planet, is an Indian, right?
Yeah.
And many of them anyway are residing in India, right? So they're all there. So they can make use of this place. They can invest through LRS. Like they can invest through the liberalized remittance scheme. There is an outbound scheme which can happen. Of course, today 93% of the funds are investing into India. 7% are investing abroad, but this 7% has actually increased over the last few months itself. So that is actually increasing, which means that IFSC as a place has become a jurisdiction from which can be used by both investors in and investors out. So that is also something that has happened. The insurance is another vertical, particularly on reinsurance. We are doing a lot of good work. There are almost 16 companies that are already registered. We also have the pension vertical. So we are trying to bring some attractive products for NRIs, so that they can sort of take advantage of this jurisdiction. Then we also have something very interesting. See, India, for example, today is the largest buyer of planes in the world. In all other countries, the airline industry is actually facing a setback. But in India, it's on the upswing because of the increasing number of air travelers, right? So many airline companies are going ahead and placing large volumes of large orders of planes, and many of them are leasing. And which is the largest place from where the largest orders are placed? It is Dublin. Now, why should an Indian company go to Dublin and place an order for a leased plane when you can do it from India itself, right? So we are trying to create something on aircraft leasing. We are trying to create something on ship leasing. You will also not believe we already have 3 foreign universities here, where you can we can study foreign the international degrees at half the price, right? And there is no interference from the UGC or anything as far as the curriculum is concerned. The foreign universities can repatriate the entire profits back. So foreign universities are already here. So that is also another thing. And the other most important thing as far as outsourcing is concerned is what your GCCs are concerned, like global capability centers. So here we have, for example, Bank of America has got almost 2 to 3,000 people working in one building itself, doing the entire outsourcing job for its own, in a group. So that way, this can be sort of used. So there are GCCs can be used, and we also have something very unique called the bookkeeping, accounting, taxation, and financial crime prevention. So professionals, suppose you are a chartered accountant, you want to service some international clients, you can start a place of business here, right? So those things are sort of allowed here. So essentially what we are trying to do is that with all these things, we are trying to create a vibrant ecosystem, and it is one size fits all in the sense like we want to create an ecosystem which is self-sufficient. It should not be such that for something I depend on one ecosystem, something else I depend on another ecosystem. It is important for an international financial center to be self-sufficient. And self-sufficient, how does it come? For example, you are a CFP. I am trying to create an opportunity for you so that you can come and work in the IFSC, right? So I'm sort of recognizing that. So I'm trying to sort of create that ecosystem for professionals. So essentially, it's important to have talent building and capacity building, which also is something which we are doing. So essentially, in a nutshell, if I can call it, we are trying our best to make this ecosystem as vibrant as possible and also full of opportunities for professionals.
Fantastic is the word. I think it's not even great, it's out of the roof, the kind of opportunities that you just listed down and the kind of landscape that is being created. I feel like shifting from Bangalore to the gift city like tomorrow. So yeah, I think it's
Yeah, at least one
unbelievable.
thing you will escape is the traffic. In fact,
Yeah.
when people actually told me that the Mumbai as an international finance center did not take off, I was slightly happy because I
Yeah,
remember having worked in Bombay. It takes 2 hours to get out of Bandra Kurla complex. So
true,
thankfully, that would have been a very terrible idea, but thankfully did not, materialize.
very true, very true. Absolutely. I wish though the weather was as beautiful, but yeah, I think I'm definitely going to
Yeah.
contemplate at least in couple of years from now. Yes, go to Gift City. Yes, I think that is the place to be in. So interestingly, you did speak about sustainable finance, and just for everybody out here who have joined us today, sustainable finance is the practice of considering environmental, social, and governance factors when making some crucial financial decisions. It's like way to promote long-term investments in sustainable projects and activities. And examples of sustainable finance can be green bonds, which as Pradeep
Yeah.
spoke about, long-term loans which are issued by the organization to fund projects that are environmental friendly. Green banking, you did touch upon green banking as well, the banking practices that are designed to be more environmental friendly. So keeping and I just have one follow-up question on sustainable finance. Is that what opportunities do you think exist for specifically for CFP professionals to incorporate this into their client offerings? What kind of opportunity, and probably not immediate, but let's say in times to come, from another 2 to 3 years from now, what are the kind of opportunities for CFP professionals, specifically when we talk about sustainable finance?
Yeah. So before that, should I get into some 4 or 5 questions that have been raised? Then shall I answer that question on sustainable finance? Is
No,
that
we
okay?
can yeah, we can take the questions at the end. We
Okay, cool. Okay,
last
so
15
then,
minutes we
then
have the
let me
questions.
speak about
Yes,
sustainable finance.
yes,
See,
yes.
um, particularly since 2018, 2017, 2018, sustainable finance has been on the upswing. So the concept of sustainable finance is not new. It's been around for quite some time, ever since the Kyoto Protocol happened. And the concept of green investing took wings after institutional investors, started saying that, okay, we want to invest only in projects which also have a social return along with this return. So what they said was like, okay, I'm willing to invest in a project which is, having a social return, but I am fine with taking a lesser return commercially because I am at a place where I can absorb that shock, but I also have the satisfaction, the altruistic satisfaction of doing something good, right? Something good for the environment, the society, and all that. So this was how the whole thing started, the whole sustainable investing. But the events in the past 4 5 years around the world, like have completely changed how sustainable finance is being looked at. Now with the new government in US, which is sort of taken wings, people are even questioning ESG because the present government is completely anti ESG. If I can actually, it might be a little loose, but I can actually say that. But still, the concept of green investing is around, and it's not that there is only one country on the planet. There are so many other countries and so many other professionals and so many other investors who still want to do it. Like, for example, our own Companies Act, for the first time, the Indian Companies Act in 2013 says it contains a section stating that the directors of a company shall ensure that they carry on a business and also keep in mind the society and the environment. So it's not just adding value to the shareholders, but as you add value to the shareholders, you should also ensure that you don't sort of destroy the environment and society, which is why the whole concept of your sin industry, sin tax, and all those things started, coming in. So this movement of institutional investors getting into green finance, sustainable investing sort of caught on. So initially they said that, okay, there is something called greenium that exists. Now, what is a greenium? A greenium is nothing but a green premium, which means that if I am coming with a normal bond or a brown bond, a normal investor would say that please pay me 8% interest. In case of a green bond, the investor is saying, okay, give me 7.6, 7.5. So that 0.4, 0.5, which is earned by the issuer, is known as a greenium. So this was how the whole green investing started. Like, so the issuer is also as an advantage because I can borrow at a cheaper rate for a green project. And the investor also gets an altruistic satisfaction, a self-actualization goal being realized because of the fact that I'm contributing to a project that is socially conscious or environmentally conscious. But over a period of time, things got changed because running a business sustainably has become the only way in which you can run business, right? You can't like say that, okay, I don't want this and let me do something that pollutes the environment, right? So those things have actually, the needle has moved and the needle has moved very fast. So now an investor says that it is your choice. You want to do a green project. That does not mean that I have to lose a return, right? So that actually, if you see, international studies are indicating slowly that now the concept of greenium is almost extinct. So which means that the only way in which, so you can't sort of borrow finance. So to that extent, the green finance avenues of cheaper borrowing have actually come down. So today, if you are an issuer who wants to raise money, then you will have to ensure that you are able to convince the investor properly on the green credentials of your project.
Sure.
So as I told, as I told earlier, about on the previous question on about the whole green thing, we brought in this taxonomy. The idea of IFSC, because that one question which you asked,
Yeah.
how are you contributing into green finance? So
Yes.
that's a good question. So what are we doing? Because as an entity, as a regulator for a financial center, an international financial center, it is important that we create this avenue, like you rightly said, for through capital or through bonds or through or through funds or through banking or any channels through which finance is involved. Now, firstly, when you take banking, we are the only regulator in the world to mandate that banks in our jurisdiction should contribute at least, not contribute, should lend at least 5% of their total lending only for sustainable purposes.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, which means that today almost $3 billion have been lent by banks here in the IFSC for only sustainable purposes.
Wow.
Secondly, as I told you, by adopting international taxonomies, we have sort of created a huge opportunity for international issuers, international investors and Indian issuers, as well as some international issuers. In fact, I can tell you that the Asian Development Bank has borrowed almost $1 billion from this place, for some certain purposes. So which means that there are international issuers also who are looking at this place as a very vibrant and useful borrowing jurisdiction. So what we did was, so we said that, so then that has led to almost $50 billion being raised, as I told you earlier. And the last piece is also something called green funds. Now, green funds are where money is pooled from international investors, right? Or maybe even from Indian investors, and you can create a fund and which can invest abroad, or you pool money from international people and then you invest into projects in India. That is also possible, or even invest abroad. That is also possible. Now, this fund is called an ESG fund, and this ESG fund will invest in a social project or a green project or an environmentally conscious project or something like that. Now, what we have said is that to encourage these, the first 10 funds, we have said that we will waive the fee. In case you start a fund, in case you start an ESG fund, and you are on the top 10 funds who have sort of raised, not by volume or anything, just by filing. Right? Today, there are 3 funds who have filed and they have taken advantage. There are 7 more funds in case they come and file, so their fee will be waived. So this is our way of giving a fillip to an ESG fund, and fees are actually considerable, almost $22,500, so which is quite big, so that people would really want to sort of make use of this opportunity. So we are having people who are doing it. Plus, one of the most important things is like, we want to be a climate finance hub. That's a very ambitious thought, right? If you want to be a climate finance hub, you have to ensure that you are able to sort of create a secondary market, because you will be able to sell the green bonds, you will be able to take funds out, you will be able to raise money through funds. There are so multiple things, and also sustainable lending. While we have solved the primary market piece of it, we are trying to solve the secondary market piece also of it. And we would really want this whole thing to continue. But we are not stopping as far as innovation is concerned, as far as sustainable finance is concerned. Now, we have said that we have formed a committee where to make IFSC a climate finance hub. We are delving into concepts like blended finance, transition finance, where the entire world is also going. They are also trying to do. So we are trying to create avenues where the IFSC can be a hub for sustainable finance, including blended finance and transition finance. That is in the works. Our report, the committee's report on transition finance has already been put on the website. So maybe in case you want, you can actually have a look at it. And by the way, I also want to tell you this. People who are interested to look at our website, so please go through it. Many of the things that I've told you are explained in VC language. We have brochures which are available on listing and so many other things which are sort of useful, because we are very excited about this whole direct listing taking off. And if you permit me, Amisha, let me spend a couple of minutes on direct listing.
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
See, today, until June 2023, the only place a Indian company could list was in India. In July 2023, the finance minister, she said that Indian companies can also list in the IFSC. So the first time an opportunity was given to an Indian company to list in a jurisdiction other than India, right? So this happened because the LEAP rules were passed by the central government, the listing of equity instruments, like equity and other instruments in permissible jurisdictions rules. So we are a permissible jurisdiction. As on date, no other jurisdiction has been permitted. So an Indian company can sort of divest equity and raise money in foreign currency. So that is a big, huge, departure from what is available today in India. So Indian companies, of course, are interested. We also have foreign companies who can also, sort of dilute their equity. Towards this, we have brought in certain rules and regulations which are very light touch, which are fit for purpose, if we can use the term. So what happens is, you can offer it to a single person, and that single person can downsell. Lock-in is only for 6 months. Minimum dilution is only 10% as opposed to 25% domestically. Disclosures are also left to the issuer. We have only given the broad heads. So essentially, if you go to an international, you go to AIM, London, alternate investment market, London, you go to these places, they'll tell you it is between a contract. An investment, of course, is a contract between the investor and the investee. Right? So towards this, what is it that you want to do? What are the things that you want to disclose to each other? These are the things which have to be agreed upon between you. Of course, we as a regulator also will get into at some point in time. We will not be washing off our hands of that. But this has, been brought in very recently. We are just fixing 1 or 2 small issues with, SEBI on the merchant banking piece. The biggest thing which you can now look forward is an Indian company listing here. In equity, listing its equity here. That is going to be a big jump for this jurisdiction.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that you spoke about direct listing, because this is the newest buzzword in the financial sector. And I'm very, very happy to know the kind of work which is happening. I'm absolutely blown away. on one hand, we are talking about direct listing being the newest buzzword, but here you have actually implemented it, and it's just phenomenal. I mean, it's not just buzzword. I think it's like you're pretty much embracing it in the fabric of the financial ecosystem which you're creating there in the gift city. Just for the audience, just a quick overview about what is direct listing. It is a process that allows a company to list its existing shares on a stock exchange without issuing new shares. So it is slightly different from initial public offering, IPO, where a company sells new shares to raise capital. So yeah, and certain companies, correct me if I'm wrong, Pradeep, I think certain
No, no,
companies like
let
Spotify and
me
Slack have done this
yeah,
recently.
yeah, yeah. Just allow
Yeah.
me to just maybe
Yes,
elaborate that on that, because that is
yes,
something I understand is very interesting.
yes, yes.
So direct listing is nothing but I can list my equity shares here. I could have issued that equity shares earlier also, which becomes an offer for sale by an existing shareholder. Or two, I can issue fresh shares also here. So the
Okay,
Companies Act
got
has
it.
been amended accordingly. So you can do both. So you can
Understood.
raise money, it can be an offer for sale whereby the money goes to the selling shareholder, or the money can also go to the company and the company can come with a public issue and it can, do a fresh offer, a fresh issue of shares. Both are
Excellent.
permitted. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, great, great. Sounds great. Just there are, just was we were talking about the whole internationalization of the Indian financial market, and we do understand that it pretty much Gift City is truly the most innovative and the international city of India. So, with Gift City positioned as a hub for international financial services, how do you see this impacting Indian financial professionals who wish to work with global clients? Like, what kind of opportunities do you see, very, very briefly, on fundamental level?
I'll just give you a small
Mhm.
thing which you can sort of extrapolate.
Sure, sure.
So we have 725 entities that are already listed here.
Wow.
So
Yes.
out of these 725 entities, there are funds, there are insurance companies, there are banks, there are ship leasing companies. There are so many varieties of people. I mean, entities that have sort of taken a variety of licenses. Now, each company needs a principal officer, a compliance officer. You need people who are key managerial personnel. You need people who have to advise. You need people who have to take decisions to invest. So there are companies who have employed 30, 40 people also, right? So which means just look at, you just, sort of extrapolate the opportunities, right? Almost, 3 to 4,000 jobs are available at any point in time.
Wow.
So, which is a very good thing, and particularly since it's a financial jurisdiction on which finance is completely built, a
Absolutely.
CFP has a lot of role, a big role, and you can always approach the funds. They can sort of appoint you, brokers can appoint you. You have investment advisors, you have distributors who can appoint you, insurance companies, banks. So but what we perhaps may be needing is a dedicated portal, a job portal sort of detailing all the jobs that are available here.
Correct.
And also the fact that, and I understand in India, CFP is a qualification that is gradually gaining traction
Absolutely.
and in a big way. So that way, I think this is going to be a place where there are a hell a lot of opportunities for people here. So on your other question on how is it going to impact India, I'll give you a small figure, right?
Mhm.
For example, you take sustainable finance. We have said that as a nation, we will reach net zero by 2070, right? Whereby we have said the amount of carbon that we emit and the amount of carbon that we sort of sequester, or maybe we are able to sort of, in some way or the other, we are sort of able to, absorb. It will become neutral in the year 2070.
Sure.
Now, what are we doing? So we are having minor, every 10 year we have 10 years we are having goals. The
Sure.
immediate goal we have is on 2030, where, for example, we have said two, three things. One, we have said that we will create a carbon sink. Okay.
Hmm.
What is a carbon sink? A sink that absorbs carbon. And
Correct.
for that, I have said almost 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide, it says we are going to absorb. And by planting trees, doing all that for afforestation, so which the government has brought something called green credits, for example. And then we have also said that we will ensure that our emissions go back to 2005 levels. Imagine, just 2005 was just 20 years ago. And we are saying we are going back to 2005 levels as far as pollution is concerned.
Absolutely.
Right. And we have also said that our emissions will be limited to 35. We are trying to bring it by 35% of our GDP.
Absolutely.
Now, this needs money, right? Now, India has banks, India has financial institutions, India also has the government, right? All these things, of course, there will be people who will be giving money, there will be financial institutions who will be giving money, but the amount, for example, just for India is almost 15 to 20 trillion only in sustainable finance that you need US dollars,
Correct.
right? This cannot be given only by India. We cannot be home. We cannot like do a the capacity utilization cannot be completely from home, right? The
Absolutely.
sources cannot be only from India. So we need to sort of tap international markets. There are international people with money. There are families with money. There are institutions with money. There are banks with money. There are funds with money. NRIs with money. Now these people are looking for a good place to invest. Now they are
Absolutely.
looking for a place where they can invest and also take return. So that opportunity is given by India to you, right? So
Absolutely.
that is an advantage. So this place, so actually, we are here to complement India. We are not
Correct.
here to take any business away from India. We cannot do it also legally. Also, it's like
Absolutely.
no, it's not possible. We have
Absolutely.
that's why we are there as a regulator. We are here to
Correct.
complement what India needs. We are here to also help what India needs. Now, the second step also is that, like for example, a Singapore. Singapore doesn't take money for itself. It also gives money to outside. It becomes a place
Absolutely.
where money comes in, goes out. So we are also wanting to do it. For example, today a foreign company can come here and raise bonds for a jurisdiction, internationally. A company from Brazil can come here and, in case they want to save the Amazon rainforest, they come and take money here and then they can use it there. So that is
Understood.
also possible. Africa, for example. So there are many countries and many continents around the world which would need money, and the IFSC can be a place where that vibrant flows can actually take place.
Fantastic. Fantastic is the word. And Pradeep, I also feel that, from all the kind of abundance of opportunities that you just spoke about, interestingly, I also feel that there is a rise of fintech and digital platforms within Gift City ecosystem, which can also alter the way CFP professionals have been delivering their services and advice to the clients. Advanced technologies like AI and automations are pretty
Hmm.
much streamlining routine, mundane tasks like portfolio management, cash flow analysis, even the analysis of the psychographics of your clients, and compliance reporting, enabling professionals to dedicate more time into strategic thinking, value
Hmm.
driven discussions with
Yeah.
client, data driven insights, fintech tools, which allow highly personalized recommendations for the clients, and especially CFP professionals who are hearing both of us today. The client's goal, by giving them tailored communication, tailored packages, understanding their risk tolerance, their financial consumer behavior. I think this is just phenomenal, and especially with Gift City's regulatory being in the hands of IFSCA. I think the whole promotion about global investments that you just spoke about, RegTech innovations, all these. All these things ensure that the CFP professionals also stay within the jurisdiction and they stay compliant within the IFSCA's dynamic regulations. So I think I'm super excited. What do you think about the AI and technology? I think I'm sure they can leverage like the kind of unprecedented wave that has come up and has embraced all of us, the AI wave. I'm pretty sure that the working professionals should also be, and especially the financial working professionals, they should be able to ride onto this wave. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I should. In fact, the IFSA should use you as a spokesperson for IFSA. Actually, as we're speaking about all these things, I was wondering, okay, maybe I have missed a couple of things while even promoting the IFSC. So, yeah. So, but thanks a lot for that question on IA. In fact, I completely forgot highlighting that portion in my earlier replies to what IFSC is doing. So, we have a fintech department,
Sure.
and the fintech department, sort of registers fintech as well as techfin
Oh, beautiful.
companies, like both types of them. Largely, it's the techfin companies that have been sort of winning. There are a lot of registrations of the. So today the who's who of the Indian IT industry, like your Infosys or a Wipro, all these people have sort of applied and they also got their licenses. So what
Love.
they do is that they'll develop products for their international customers. Just imagine this is also sort of helping India to become as an AI hub, which is something which we never
Wow.
thought. So we are trying to sort
Absolutely.
of create products which are technically oriented and also which will also use artificial intelligence. This is a place which creates a lot of opportunities for people in that line. So we are also like sort of moving away from finance. We are also trying to bring, in the sense like moving away from finance in the sense I'm talking about creation of opportunities even for IT. The IT people, the people who are there, who are learning machine language, who are experts in AI, they get an opportunity to make use of this TechFin and FinTech pipe, which we have sort of created. And this creates a lot of opportunities. This is going to be a wave that a lot of people are making use of it. Like I told you, we are expecting almost 3 to 4 thousand people to be employed by these people alone. Just imagine,
Amazing.
and that is going to be a big success as far as the AI, the fintech, side of IFSC is concerned.
Fantastic. Fantastic is the word. I'm just absolutely thrilled, and so would be the audience here today. So that brings me to pretty much the last question for the day. The question is in two parts. One, if you can share any kind of success story or a case study of professionals or firms who are thriving in the gift city, like if you can take like a case study example. And the second part of the question is that if for those who are new to the idea of gift city and IFSCA, and I'm sure most of us are, what would be your advice, like that one prudent advice to start exploring and making the most of the opportunities here? So yeah, two-part question. If there is a success story or a case study that you can take us through, and any prudent advice for the beginners here.
So success study as a regulator, I should not mention individual names. But
Okay.
I can tell you that every fund here is a success story. There are 200 funds
Beautiful.
here, right?
Beautiful.
There are 30 banks here. They are all success stories. There are 16 insurance companies.
Excellent.
There are, aircraft leasing companies, and
Yes.
there are almost 200 issues of bonds, almost 180 issues of bonds. So which have been issued by almost 50 to 60 issuers. So all the 60 issuers are success stories here, and
Incredible.
but just taking a step back and without maybe mentioning names, I can tell you this: any place offers the right amount of scope for the person who's willing to explore, right? So yesterday I was just reading something about Machu Picchu, which is a famous tourist place. It's not only a tourist place; it's a place of historical importance.
True.
And I was just seeing as to how it was discovered. So there was one person who went there in 1902, and he scribbled his name there, right? And then almost 12 years, 10 years later, in 1912, there was another explorer called Bingham who went there, and then he saw that, oh, someone has already scribbled the name. And then they started excavating, and they never knew that it was lying in one huge mound of vegetation, right? So the same thing was, even in your Angkor Wat, many of these places, and many of these places in India also, they have come out because someone had dared to explore, right? Go to a new place and then check. So, but in our place, we are no rainforest. We are not hidden under the mountain. We are very much visible. We are always there. And so, a person who wants to get into Gift City, I would request them to first go into the IFSCA website.
Okay.
Now, why? Because the IFSCA website contains all the information about IFSCA. It contains information about all the verticals. It contains information also about how things happen, right?
Ex-
And what are the things that you can sort of do? Like, for example, what is an IPO, right? How do things happen in an IPO? What do you're talking about direct listing? What is direct listing, right? It also contains speeches. We have placed some videos. There are some YouTube videos which we have also placed, which we can also sort of access. Recently, we had the Global Securities Markets Conference. We keep having conferences almost every 2 3 weeks, international and national, and we also go and speak. So those things also will sort of enlighten you. So to start with, first it's important. They say that being forearmed is forewarned, right? It's
yes.
important for you to know what you're getting into, and for
Absolutely.
that, the IFSCA website will serve as the gateway. So there you will sort of get information about all these things, every single information that you would need about the verticals, the business, what you should do, including. And apart from that, I would also encourage you to visit the websites of the stock exchanges and of Gift City itself, right? The
Absolutely.
Gift City itself and the NSE-IX and India INX, they have websites which will sort of give you information on what is it, what is how do NRIs come and invest? Because these are all little small information which maybe I at my level may not be able to sort of enlighten, because there will be thousands of such questions.
Correct.
How
Correct.
do I approach? For example, we have brought in something called the SWIT system. We are a regulator which clears a complete license within almost 45 days. It's probably one of the quickest in the world, right? And everything
Absolutely.
is online, transparent. You put in an application, it automatically goes to the other regulators for a no objection certificate. You comes out,
Absolutely.
and then you are able to sort of take it. So a
Correct.
person who's new, a new CFP, I would suggest them to look at these regulations. We have also published certain articles. My LinkedIn profile is also there, where I have, you will have to do some searching, because I'm just 1 year old. The last 1 year, I've written certain articles on what exactly is sustainable finance in the IFSC. Okay, what is the fund ecosystem in the IFSC? What is a direct listing? So all these things are sort of very sucks. Like, for example, now the government wants to issue sovereign green bonds, right?
Got
How will that sovereign green bond ecosystem at the IFSC take off? We just wrote an article 2 weeks ago, which is there. So all these things are available for people to read, because you will
it.
have
Sure.
to sort of read, right? You need to sort of read a lot, and the mechanisms to the resources for you to sort of tap to read are available. So this is something which I would encourage the CFP professionals to take advantage of.
That is absolutely fantastic, Pradeep. I think I'm feeling superbly learned. I think I'm just going to cheat next time I come to Gift City, and I'm literally using the word cheat, and I'm going to sneak some time of yours, and I'm going to have a lot of conversations with you. This is, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
I think, yeah, we should.
Yes,
We are happy to, we are happy to sort of
absolutely.
do all that. Yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely. And you're phenomenal. And the best part is you're humble and yet an ocean of knowledge. I just
See,
blown
we are
away.
all what we are just because of functions of time, function of time, right? It's just
Absolutely.
about being at the right place at the right time. So nothing more
So
than
well said.
that. That's
So,
a,
so well said.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So, we are now open to the questions
Yeah.
here,
So let me go
requesting
one by
Sanya.
one.
Yes.
So that
Probably, yeah.
you want someone to read the questions, or I
Uh,
can read the questions, not an issue, not a problem.
yeah. Uh,
Either way, I mean, how do you do it normally? I don't know.
so probably Sanya can pick up a few questions, and
Okay.
yeah, because in the proximity of time, we just have like probably 10 more minutes. So, Sanya, would you like to just pick up a few top questions, and Pradeep would be
So
happy to.
Sanya, if you permit me, I can sort of go through it. I can whiz through it if you're fine.
That
Yes.
would be
Okay.
great, because I'm
So, okay.
actually in a dilemma out
Okay,
here
I
that which
understand,
one to
because
pick up.
a lot of people have asked a lot of technical questions. So I think
Yes.
let me be some sort of help to Sanya here. So the first thing is, are investments through Gift City subject to currency risk? Any investment is subject to interest rate risk, credit risk, and currency risk. So this does not magically vanish when you come here. However, the advantage is that you can invest in the direct currency of your choice, which means that if a dollar is hit by current is some risk, that will, you will get the impact only by that. So the conversion risk is something which you will not be sort of sort of impacted. So that is also something which you can do. It's one. Second is benefits for NRIs investing through Gift City account. I would suggest there are a lot of benefits. As I told you, just go to our web page. It is there. It is there also in the Gift web page. For an NRI investor, all the benefits that are available are already given there. I have already given you the advantage for companies, like the 100% tax, and we also have certain things like no STT, no the commodities tax, and no GST. So these are the advantages as far as companies are concerned, right? So this is something which I would want to sort of enlighten. Okay, the paperwork is very cumbersome. Okay, and the list of investment avenues is still at a very nascent stage. How do you plan to tackle this issue? See, I always ask myself one question: where was I yesterday? Where am I today? That is my motivation, right? So there were 200 odd entities. Probably when I came to Gift City, there were 75 funds. Today there are 700, 210 funds now, right? We cleared 10 funds the last 2 days, right? Every month there are 10 funds whom we clear applications. So Dubai also did not magically emerge from the ground one night, right? If you go to the 1960s, 70s, 80s photographs of Dubai, you will have one or two buildings here and there. Slowly, everything comes up, right? Even as they say, Rome was not built in a day. And I understand that people want to build this Rome faster, and that's what we are also trying to sort of do. And in this particular case, also we will do it. And from the government side, there are certain things which they are also doing, because one of the most common complaints of people has been that there is a need for a social atmosphere. So I understand, with Amisha and Sanya, in being in different cities, which give them that opportunities. That has been a huge question mark for a lot of people, here particularly for social animals. So what the gift is trying to do is that, first of all, liquor is permitted in this jurisdiction. But for permit, and it's a dry state, it's a big jump for a very dry state. And of course, so I don't drink, so I don't have a problem. But I understand people who do it, so they have an issue, right? And it's a fair thing. So what there's a permit that is issued by the government, and that is something which you can avail of, and you can make use of that. There's a waterfront that is coming up where you can sort of spend your evening. So those things are also being built. The infrastructure is really world class. We have the metro. So these are things which are anyway we are trying to sort of build, and over a period of time it will like sort of come. So that is something which will be there. Okay. Next is someone. I am a chief manager. Okay. And I am in a PSB. What are the opportunities that will? I think we did discuss about a lot of opportunities.
Yes.
There are a lot of
Absolutely.
opportunities, and particularly for professionals who are pursuing CFP. This gentleman, I think, is pursuing CFP. So I told you, and I have promised to Sanya and Krishan also, that we are creating something for CFPs from our own
IFSC.
IFSCA. So there will be for particularly for what you call distributors and for investment advisors. We are specifically carving out something for CFP, so that will be useful for you. Apart from that, there are other things. Like I told you, there are almost 725 entities here. There will be some place or the other where you will certainly fit at a very high level, right? Okay, what about venture capital funds being set up in the gift city? What new skill capabilities are required to operate there successfully? Nothing different. It's the same venture capital. The strategies which you are going to sort of use, there is no difference here as far as that is concerned. But the only thing is that the investor is not affected by the currency conversion risk, because you're going to invest in dollars only here. So, and that is also in case of bonds, the advantage is that the tax is withholding tax is only 9%, as opposed to a 20% thing in domestic India. So that is not a problem. And we also have another opportunity, as I told you. In case you are a VC or a PE who has already invested in an Indian company, that company can make use of the IFSC to come for direct listing and dilute that. So that is also something that is sort of available. Okay, I am a CFP. I want to open a financial services company for foreign nationals. What is the scope and how to start? If you go to the website, there is something called Financial Services Company Regulations, which we have brought. So that contains the do's and don'ts, and we have also issued something called FAQs, frequently asked questions. So please go through them, because essentially they don't come under my vertical. So my antenna doesn't. I'm not very much aware of what exactly you need to do as far as this is concerned. But we have a financial services companies regulations, and you will be able to go through it, and you can sort of make an application, and you can sort of get registered. That can be done. Okay, do you have a partnering model? Okay, a partnering model means empanel. So there is no empaneling with IFSCA. Sorry. So that is something which I want to make clear, because I think
Absolutely.
this gentleman has asked that whether they can empanel. No, there is no empaneling here. But what we do is that we enter into MOUs, with institutions. Like for example, with FPSB, we have entered into an MOU. We entered into MOU with ICSA, ICI. Those things we sort of do. We are willing to take advantage of your contribution here. Okay, your knowledge and contribution. Can we have interactions focused on IFSC activities, please? I think we did sustainable
Yes.
finance also. I think, see, we just have 50 minutes, right? Whatever we can speak in 50 minutes, I think we did more than that, right?
Sorry,
And
Pradeep, we
yeah,
can take two more questions.
yeah,
And
I am
yeah,
doing that.
yes, just
These
two
are all
more
these are all
questions.
questions. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. You are
yeah.
running out of time, is it? Can a
Yes, so we
professional
can
work
just
in
take
green finance? Yes, they can work.
yeah.
Because the growth is stagnated, I don't expect much growth here onwards in terms of monetary benefits. That was the reason I'm pursuing CFP, which can be okay. I think that's a statement. I welcome and I wish you all the best. And what are the main regulatory points to be kept in mind while advising family office clients? Okay, family offices, foreign offices are permitted. There is foreign family offices can invest, foreign families can come. In case of Indian family offices, there are certain things which we are sort of ironing out with the government. So otherwise, I think you can do it. So in case you are a foreign family office, please feel free to come and register. So that can be done.
Fantastic.
Okay, an informative session. Okay, thank you. And you wanted to know if there is any possibility for Kuwait or Qatar nationalities to invest in Indian. Yeah, you can do that. That's what I'm saying. So you can invest, through funds, right? Through funds, you can sort of invest in AIFs, or even now mutual funds are also taking care of that, are taking off. Okay, that's a good question. So now for NRIs, because there are so many NRIs around the world, they would like to make use of this jurisdiction to invest into India, take advantage of the bourgeoising market that is India now. So the advantages can make use of. You can set up a fund here, and you can from here invest. Now you can invest as an institutional investor or a large investor or an accredited investor into an AIF. But if you're an individual and you want to invest in mutual fund, that is also possible, because mutual funds are now going to take off in the GIFT City. In fact, IFSC is the only jurisdiction where the government has permitted 100% NRI fund to be invested into the Indian ecosystem. So that is also something which I want to sort of highlight. When will the minimum investment limit be brought down from currently 1.5 lakh? Okay, so please wait for the new FM regulations. Just 2 more weeks. We are bringing it down for portfolio management to 70,000 rupees.
Wow.
Okay. Any job portal under IFSCA? No, but I think this is an opportunity for you to create a job portal. I think you can actually do that. Okay, and however, there are certain places in Naukri and other things where you can sort of give GIFT City as a keyword, and you can do it. But I think I'm telling this gentleman, Amit, whoever has asked the question, there's an opportunity for you to create a job portal exclusively for GIFT City. So I've already given you an idea. You can do that. So how can a professional set up practice firm? So I think I told you about the BATF regulations and the ancillary piece where you can start a firm and service your international clients, for which you will get all the benefits. So you can do it. Please go to the SWIT portal and you can sort of apply. Please read the ancillary regulations, regulation for ancillary services, and also BATF regulations. So these two things you can read, and you will get to know what has to be done. Will there be unrealized gains taxed on ongoing investments? So I'm not able to comprehend this question. Apologies. I'm currently registered as a MF distributor. Since I am CFP, can I advise? Okay, this is only a statement. As an aspiring CFP, okay, this is all.
I think we can leave that one. Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. Job opportunities. I think a lot of people are asking for job opportunities. They are all available.
Yes.
You have to just
Correct.
take your antenna out. Products available for investments are not accepting US based NRIs. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we have many clients from the US here. And you again you have same questions. The answer is yes. Essentially, there is something called the Securities Act of the United States, and in that there is a section 144 which says that this investment can be accepted in the United States. So if the offer document carries that particular paragraph, and also some disclosures which have to be made. Essentially, I'm saying that I'm selling it to a citizen of the United States, then it can be done, and there are many people who are doing it now. If an NRI wishes to invest in GIFT, do we as a CFP, what is MFD? Two, three people have just sort of mentioned mutual fund distributor. I don't know. Maybe mutual fund distributor. I don't know. Can this be addressed to a separate webinar? Invest through no. Why should there is no need for an investor to invest in GIFT City. Okay, so you can use your CFP knowledge to sort of advise people. Because that is why I said you can be an investment advisor. You can say the products in GIFT City you can sort of sell to your clients. So that is something which you can do it even now. But even otherwise, we are also creating an opportunity for you to be there. Opportunities available for freshers. Yes, of course. Portfolio investors. So we have created a very liberalized portfolio management regime, which you can take advantage of. So portfolio investors can also do it. And we are also bringing down the minimum investment limit to 70,000 US dollars in the present FM regulation. So that can also be something which you can sort of take advantage. IT professionals, I just talked about the tech fin and fintech sectors to Amisha just now, so that also you
Absolutely.
can take advantage. Okay, I think all other questions. Can I
Yeah.
set up an office of wealth management distribution? Yes, please come. You're welcome. Do it, please. Yes. I think.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pradeep. This was phenomenal. And thank you for patiently taking time and answering every single question. This is phenomenal. You are surprising me with your charm with every second that we are spending here. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Sanya. Thanks, Amisha, and wish everyone the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a lovely evening.
I'll quickly conclude the webinar for everyone. So it was indeed a fantastic webinar and amazing engagement. I could see the questions pouring in. And Pradeep, if we could have an email address or a contact person or something that they can reach out and address their queries, that would be great.
Yeah.
Is there
So,
any
so
support ID or
what
some
I
sort
would
of?
suggest is that there are different verticals, and the list of officers under each vertical, along with the contact number and email, is given there. So I request them to please browse through the
Okay.
official directory of the website so you can address your questions to the respective
Absolutely.
parties.
Yes, I'm sure our CFPs can't wait to move to Gift City very soon. And as we wrap up, I would also like to inform you that those looking out for CPD points for this webinar, the recording will be available on your learning portal soon. And additionally, this video will also be available for the broader masses on our YouTube channel by Monday. And before we close, a quick teaser, registrations for our upcoming event in Mumbai will also be opening up soon. We can't wait to share the details with you. And for any latest updates on the initiatives and developments of FPSB India, you can, of course, follow us on our SM channels, social media channels, especially LinkedIn channel. We are very active out there. And thank you once again, our wonderful speakers, Pradeep and Amisha. You were fantastic in this webinar. And stay connected, stay informed, and continue your journey of learning in the dynamic world of finance. So we hope you had a great day and a great webinar today. And now we can conclude the webinar.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank